All right, answering a listener question today. Is there any advice you have on breaking through a match performance plateau? I've been stuck as high B, low A class shooter for a couple years. My live dry fire practice has progressed to mid to high A, but when I shoot matches, I go right back to where I was. Main advice I keep getting is rep it out or shoot more matches, but scheduling wise, I can't. There's something I should try, or am I destined to stay stuck here? Well, good question. There's a bunch of different things to pick apart here and talk through, but it all kind of like some of it depends. Are you actually assessing things correctly? Because this all depends on you. So, for practice has progressed to high A. I'll be a little bit of devil's advocate on some of this stuff. So I'm not even attacking this person. This is really good. There's just a lot of different ways to look at this. So if you assess yourself as high A in practice, like then the question would be, why aren't you doing that way in matches? But how do you assess what high A class is in practice? Is it when you're all tuned up? Is it your cold performance? Is there someone that it's A class that you're practicing with that you can beat in practice but not in matches? How do you know he's actually A class and shouldn't be in B class? Believe it or not, there is some cheating that happens in the classification system. All right, here's some stories. So anyway, there's a bunch of stuff to talk about. So that's just some initial like devil's advocate food for thought as far as like assessing where you're at or where you should be. The next thing I think it's important, again, sorry, this is kind of speaking specifically to competitive shooting, and I understand there's not everyone's into that, but I think this is kind of also related to just performance on demand. So I'll package it that way a little bit. But the question is, like, if you feel like you're stuck and you're not getting better, where I don't agree with just rep it out or just shoot more matches, because there's probably something that needs to get fixed that you're not fixing, or you're just doing the same thing over and over again. So, a couple valuable things. One, I suggest like recreating whatever issues you're seeing in matches and practice. That advice goes true for people that carry a gun for real and just competitive shooters. Because some examples, let's say it's close, aggressive shooting. The next thing you know, you become undisciplined and you just start shooting at the shape or colors of the target, not really finding the middle. Or the flip side to that, the targets are close, you need to be shooting fast, and you're shooting way too slow, you're over-confirming. Recently, I was looking all over, like, which gun do I grab? Interacting with someone that was shooting, and like after every shot, I'd hear the click of the trigger. It's like, yeah, if you're holding the trigger to the rear after the gun goes off and then you're releasing it, so I hear the click, that's going to be a problem. That's going to slow you down. So maybe it's too fast, too slow. Maybe it's undisciplined. But you could set up whatever style of stage or shooting challenge you're struggling with in your practice, or I'm sorry, in your match. Set that up in practice and work on it. Then shoot it cold. It doesn't need to be something that takes 30 minutes to set up. But what's the theme or the kind of the spirit of what's going on? Shooting while you're moving, shooting far targets, shooting close targets, getting lost or confused. It's kind of a competition specific thing, but sometimes like stage planning, I'll just take a stance and say you need to have some amount of it just subconscious. For example, if the gun malfunctions, maybe I'll have like a glimpse of like, oh, what happened? And then it just gets fixed. Or maybe it just happens on its own and I don't even have to slow down and process it. While shooting competitively, it'll happen way too slow if you have to make decisions on every single thing. For example, yep, there's the target. Okay, I see the color of my sight. Now I'm going to shoot a predictive pair. There's another target. Yep, I'll look there. Another predictive pair. It's time to run. Yep, that way. All right, run my guts out now. I'm getting close. Let's bring the gun up. If you have to, some of it's going to have to be programmed and just happen kind of unconscious or subconscious. I think performance is the verbiage that people like. But anyway, it kind of happens on autopilot after you program yourself to do the thing. Because if you have to think through and do all the little decisions along the way, it will just be too slow. It takes too much time. So it could be in that. It could be in the performance shooting. If you're in B class, most people either are undisciplined and a little bit loose with the points or too slow. or possibly an inconsistency. Being inconsistent would kind of tie into the first one, the undisciplined or a little bit too loose with shooting. So you kind of have to find out what camp you're in or what issues you're seeing in matches where you're kind of falling down on and what you need to work on, because that'll give you a path for like improvement, what to set up, what to work on next. And anyway, that's the whole point of this kind of is you have to look at your match, see what you didn't do right, what you want to work on, and then like you set that up in practice to just work on that one area, that one aspect, plug it back into the big machine, see how that works, what happens or doesn't happen, what's going on, and then just kind of keep bouncing it back and forth. So just doing more reps or shooting more buckets of ammo or going to more matches probably won't fix the problem. The other thing you could do is if you have somebody more talented than you, or even if they're not better at shooting, someone detail-oriented, just have them look at your shooting, or if you shoot matches or travel with them, just get their thoughts. Like, hey, what do you think's holding me back, or what area do you see for me to like move on with? Some people are quite good at not giving unsolicited advice. So if you just pick someone that you trust, ask their 2 cents. In my experience, there's been several times over the years where I'd shoot with a match with somebody much better than me, and do not pick like a time where they're preparing for a stage, but in down times or while you're waiting to reset or whatever, just be like, hey, what did you think about this? Or I was this far off the pace from you. Did you happen to see my shooting? Did you notice anything? Or, something along those lines. And hopefully the person to be willing to just give you their 2 cents if they happen to see your shooting or notice something that you were struggling on. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Just do more reps or do it more is not really the answer. Sometimes you need to work smarter, not harder. So being able to pick apart what specific style struggles or you're having in a match, setting up that scenario just in practice. Also, like I briefly talked about at the beginning, the importance of doing it cold. So at the beginning, you just get one chance to do it. That your one performance through that it is what it is for that day. And then you could take that from that experience to work on even more things in depth. So this is the experience I have for that day shooting it cold. I didn't pick spots. I didn't remember my plan. I didn't grip the gun well. And then just tunnel in on that part even further as you try to improve your overall shooting. So hopefully that's helpful. Gives you some things to think about. If you have any comments or questions, drop it below. I try my best to read through the questions and answer them if I can. If it needs to be its own video, I will just make that happen too. So anyway, appreciate you watching. Hopefully have a good day.